Good morning. Well, like I've been introduced, my name's Rachel Lea Wilson. I'm the Regional Coordinator for HomeStart Hampshire in the North. And I'm here to just talk to you a little bit about HomeStart Hampshire and the support that we offer in Rushmore and Hart, but obviously more particularly in the Hook area. So just wanted to quickly give you some background in case you didn't know who HomeStart are. And if you want to find more information, you can Google us. If you Google HomeStart Hampshire, you'll come across our website and you'll get a lot more information. But our vision is around seeing a society in which every parent has the support that they need to give their children the best possible start in life, because we know that childhood can't wait. And that's what we're striving to do. Just a little bit about HomeStart Hampshire. So in April 2018, 6 independent schemes merged together to form HomeStart Hampshire. So HomeStart Rushmore and Hart was one of those. So we're now part of a bigger scheme, and I manage the north of the county. And that's enabled us to extend our reach and also to improve our funding streams, because what we were finding was lots of individual charities were actually going after the same pot of money, and it was better if we could amalgamate. So we deliver services in Rushmore and Hart, as I said, but also Waywater, New Forest, Meon Valley, Gosport and Fareham and Havant. But we are still part of HomeStart UK. So we follow their quality assurance system, and we are checked by HomeStart UK to make sure that we're following all the appropriate procedures that are in place. Before I go on to some of our achievements, I just wanted to quickly talk to you about what we do. Our core purpose is to support families who are in need, who are finding things challenging. We support any family with a child, a youngest child up to the age of 11. We used to support families with children up to the age of 5, but we've extended that now up to 11. And we offer 2 main types of support. So our main function is to recruit and train volunteers who are all parents themselves, and we match them with a family, and they will support that family for an hour or 2 once a week for between 3 and 9 months, depending on what's going on with the family. All the volunteers are enhanced, DBS reference checked. They have 6 days of training and ongoing training opportunities, and we provide lots of support and supervision for those volunteers. So as an organisation, our volunteers are just as important as the families, and we probably spend an equal amount of time supporting and communicating with the volunteers as we do with our families. So that's the one-to-one support that we do that's in the home. Obviously that's changed a little bit with COVID, but the other support that we offer families is in groups, and we offer things like a stay and play group, school readiness groups, wellbeing group, and certainly the new group in Hook that we are just starting is a stay and play group where we can offer socialization and parenting tips and wellbeing tips and those sorts of things. We've been incredibly successful through COVID. We've had to change our service, but despite of all the disruptions of lockdowns and the pandemic in general, HomeStart Hampshire have managed to support nearly 900 children and nearly 400 families. So we've been incredibly busy, and we've maintained contact with all of our families. Obviously, there were times where we weren't able to see them face to face, so we swapped over to telephone support or video call support. Sometimes it was a text service, and we also tried to maintain contact by providing activity packs for the children, hampers for the families, food packs, whatever we could do. And as the restrictions have lifted, we've managed to do some socially distanced support outside the home, and we're all now looking forward to moving inside the home, as long as Boris carries on with his roadmap. So some of the reasons why families get referred to HomeStart, I guess before I go on to that, I just wanted to um, sort of say to you that the people that refer to us are many and varied. So we do get a number of self-referrals, so we'll get families contacting us directly. The bulk of our referrals still come through health, so particularly the health visiting service. They're a key partner for us. The health visitors, the ones that are going into families when a baby's born, so they're picking up right from the beginning if families are struggling. But we get referrals from education settings, we get them from food bank, we get them from social prescribers in the GP surgery, domestic abuse charities, other support charities, schools. So, you know, a broad spectrum of referrals. But the reasons that families get referred are around social isolation and loneliness. So if they don't have any support that they can pull on locally, it could be around mental health, could be lone parents, it could be around children's development. So I mentioned school readiness earlier. It could be special educational needs, disability or long-term illness, either for the child or the parent. It could be around supporting with day-to-day running of the home. We all know if you've got children that it's very difficult to juggle everybody's needs and keep on top of everything else, the washing and ironing and all the rest of it. And we can help with routines. It could be families who are refugees, so they're new to the UK or the area, domestic abuse, drug and alcohol misuse, or some other sort of trauma. Generally in Rushmore and Hart, the main reasons that we will get referrals is around parental mental health, isolation and lack of social networks, supporting parents around routines and managing children's behaviour. And alongside that, it could be also domestic abuse and financial concerns and challenges. So many reasons for the referrals, but you know, parenting is tough anyway. And if you've got other challenges, it just makes it equally more difficult. So we measure our impact on families. We have a tool called Outcome Star, and we work with families around this star, and it gives them a sense of a journey and how far they've come. And quite often when you're in the midst of something, you can lose sight of just all the good stuff that you are doing. And part of our job is to highlight that to families so they can see what a difference that they're making and the journey that they're taking over the course of the 3 to 9 months that we might be with them. And some of the positive impacts that we see with families and that families report is around improved mental, emotional, physical health for both the children and the parents, reduce loneliness and social isolation. So we've managed to connect them into the community and other peers, more confident parents, and improved self-worth. Parents also, you know, can get a break. We're an extra pair of hands. Quite often our volunteers like to go in and support with the children, just helping parents to get out or to get things done around the home. It gives parents an hour or two a week just so they can manage their own health or work on their own financial worries. If they've got small children, it's very difficult to be able to focus on those sorts of things. Better parent and child relationships, improved resilience, improved coping skills, learning strategies. We're very much a sustainable service, so we don't go in and do things for families. We work with them because we want to leave them in a better place than where we found them. So we're very much about working with families to find out a way of what best works for them so they can move on in a sustainable way. Creating learning and play opportunities for children, that could be in groups or at home, and also alongside that, promoting parent-child interaction around learning and increasing confidence with parents around their learning. reducing the need for statutory intervention. So this is where children's services may get involved. We're very much an early intervention service, and if we can get in early and help families to resolve some of their challenges, then hopefully things won't escalate and their children won't end up being under the support of children's services. So, you know, and that has huge benefits for the family, but also for society as well. Preventing family tensions and breakdowns, fewer missed appointments with professionals, you know, increased children's enjoyment, and also children get to see a different role model, a different adult role model, so someone else that they can trust and have a positive experience with. So there's a huge amount of positives that you know, our volunteers can impact a family with. During lockdown, I mentioned earlier, there were lots of things that we did to support families. So, you know, and we've learned from that, and we will kind of carry on with some of the things that we've learned during lockdown, because they've worked really well for families, and I think they will out of the pandemic as well. So, you know, we put a lot of emphasis into providing activity packs for children when, you know, if you've got children that are in flats, they don't have a garden, you know, they couldn't get out, then, you know, if we could provide activities for them to do, ideas for parents who are short on sleep, frazzled, and coming up with different things to do with children every day when they're at home all the time is very difficult. We've provided clothing, bedding, art materials, and we've, you know, carried on connecting with them with Zoom calls and phone calls. And, you know, I think initially we were a little bit kind of cautious around the impact that we'd have by making a phone call once a week, but actually what we found is that that's been just as valuable to have a phone call and check in with the family. So although our normal service delivery has changed, it's actually created some opportunities for us going forward. And one of those is actually a Zoom group. So our group stopped working face to face and we had to go over to Zoom. But actually we found that for some parents that was much more accessible for them, and that's something that we'll look at going forward. So I've already talked about families where they're experiencing increased poor mental health. There's been a lot of news about that after the pandemic, that how, you know, people's mental health has been affected, and that's a key part of what we do. We always have done. In Rushmore and Hart, we've had funding from the National Lottery specifically to look at parental mental health. So it's a strength of ours, but it's something that runs through all the support, whatever family that we're supporting. And so we've kind of tailored self-care strategies. We've sent out self-care kits to families. Our wellbeing group that we run, we have a 12-week program of activities covering depression, anxiety, gratitude, physical and mental health, creating a sort of a peer support group. So, you know, it's something that, you know, we're very experienced on in this area. And you can see that there's a couple of quotes at the bottom of this presentation from families who really appreciate the support. Another main area is that families, you know, before the pandemic were actually quite anxious to step outside. We've got a number of parents who have very high anxiety levels, and the pandemic has certainly not helped that. So being able to provide a safe, non-judgmental space where we can support parents to come outside with their children so they can splash in those muddy puddles and have a lovely time and a change of scenery from the, you know, the four walls that they spend most of their time in, has been a real benefit. And again, if you've got somebody there alongside you, it's much easier than trying to do it by yourself. Families, again, were struggling with isolation, and the pandemic certainly made that more difficult. And I think that will continue because there's still a level of anxiety around what the new normal will look like, and, you know, the way that we're going to be going about our day-to-day lives. So we, again, are useful in terms of connecting families, either to other community services, but also with peer support within our own families. Our groups are really useful for that. They provide a safe space where families can come together, and our success factor on that is if the families have, started a WhatsApp group and they're communicating themselves and meeting outside of our group, and they sort of create some friendships going forward. And one thing that we're very aware of is that a lot of babies have been born during lockdown, and HomeStart commissioned a report and called Babies in Lockdown, because we've got a lot of babies and youngsters under 12 months who, their life has been at home. They've had no interaction with other babies and children of a similar age. Their parents are lacking confidence in that area. So it's something that we really want to work on, to try and create those opportunities where all those little babies can come together and enjoy each other's company. And lastly, kind of what I wanted to really talk to you about was the Hook Family Group. So we're very grateful to receive some funding from Odium Cottage Hospital to set up a brand new family support group in Hook, which we were due to start the week after the first lockdown. So we had to stop everything, the staff were furloughed, and then we brought them back in September with a view to starting up again. And where we are at the moment is that we've got a number of families who meet outside. So the Hook Family Group covers Hook, Hartley Whitney and Odium. It's currently a stay and play type group. We wanted to keep it very open, and based on what the families tell us, we can then tailor it to what they might like. So whether that's something around parenting or school readiness or well-being, we will kind of meet those needs depending on what the families tell us. It is by referral only, but families can self-refer. So if you know of any families who you think might benefit, then please contact us. It's currently outdoors in a local park, but we are looking to move back into Elizabeth Hall in June, and may do a little bit of both depending on the weather. It's supported by trained staff, so I have a group coordinator and a group support worker who are there to organise the group, ensure that we're COVID secure, but also to support the families and signpost them to other services in the community, to offer them information and advice. And the main focus of the group really is around socialisation space, play, making it fun for the children, and really trying to instill the joy of parenting. And lastly, it's about partnership working for us. Like I said, we were delighted to get the funding from Odium Cottage Hospital, and that's created other opportunities and other networks, and it's enabled us as well to get to know the Hook area and make new connections like we have today. I wouldn't be here, I don't think, if it wasn't for that. So that's the end of my presentation. So I'll stop sharing the screen, and then I think we're open to questions. Thank you for listening.